What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is your Wednesday, not Wednesday. Fucking hell, what day are we on? Are we on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Your Tuesday night transfer topic. There is so much stuff ongoing at United. It's honestly hard to keep up with it. That's why I'm kind of missing the afternoon shows at the moment, because this honestly could have been separated into two. So we'll try go through it in blocks, because there's a lot of stuff going on with the centre-back situation in terms of individuals, bids being put in, bids being rejected. We've got some transfer bits, outgoings and incomings being reported today. We've had Erik ten Hag, who's done his first interview. Obviously since the FA Cup final, effectively, and the new Europa League format and teams involved and all that kind of jazz as well. So plenty to discuss, as I'm sure you will probably be happy about. Get in the comments, smash a like, get involved. We'll go to the comment section shortly as we go through the first topic. So lads, Lenny Yoro is the name that's floating about today. Very, very strong, well, not strong links. We've actually put a bid in. So this is according to a journalist coming out of France. And a couple of other people have kind of spoken about this as well, including Romano. So Manchester United have had an official offer for 42 million plus bonuses accepted by Lille for Lenny Yoro. The player's priority remains Real Madrid, but United are pushing. We've seen that before, e.g. Camavinga. Yoro has to decide soon, otherwise Man United will close deals for other centre-backs. How do you feel about this, Shreyas? Is this something, if we can't get Branthwaite, would this be another fantastic deal instead of him?
Yeah, once again, this is a very young centre-back who's got massive potential, is coming off a very good season for Lille, and a lot of top clubs are targeting this player. And once again, this is not going to be a player who's going to be coming in with the idea of starting week in and week out. This is going to be a developmental centre-back who's going to be very young. And I think this sort of profile, fits right into Ten Hag's wheelhouse. A very young centre back who, has to go through development and, just work his way up through the ranks. So he does fit into the right description and right profile. And apart from it, I think it is good that at least, we are going in, we have alternatives to turn to. Because if the Branthwaite deal isn't going through, if the Branthwaite deal is, turning out to be a bit more pricey than what United are actually expecting it to be, then it's good that you've got other options who maybe for cheaper can actually come in and probably either work just as well or even better than Branthwaite.
Yeah, I agree. I like him. I think he's a top talent. And just a couple of stats here for you, Sam, to get you riled up if you're not already about Lenny Yoro. 6'3", 18 years old, 44 first-team appearances for Lille in last season, helping him to Champions League qualification. Nominated for Liga 1 Young Player of the Year and named in the UNFP League 1 Team of the Year as well. So it'll be pretty impressive if United was to get this over the line. And also, what are your thoughts on the fee? Because the fee's quite big in it for a player who's got a year left on his deal.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Like, since we first started talking about him, I've looked into him and just sort of okay, let's see what this kid's about. And he looks phenomenal. And the fact that he's 18 and Real Madrid are sniffing around tells you how far this guy has come in this short amount of time. So I think the fact that we're competing with Madrid is a good sign. He's a good sign for Ineos. The fact that we're willing to go toe to toe with Madrid and go, nah, fuck it, let's put our hat in the ring. Why not? I think in past days under Murta and Woodward, they probably go, oh, Madrid are interested. We just won't bother then. And they'll just not even try and compete, because you know what United were like back in the day. If another club was interested, we weren't getting him, were we? It wasn't happening. And now we seem to be competing with teams we've seen off AC Milan, Xerxes, it seems. The way Zlatan Ibrahimovic was talking is that they've moved on. So it seems like we've seen them off. Matthijs De Ligt, I think Liverpool and somebody else came in for him, and he said no, he only wants to go to United.
Yep.
So it seems like we've got some sort of pull again. And while I think if Madrid tell him to wait and they'll come for him next summer, he will probably do it. I think unless they give him a clear cut of what the plan is, I don't see why we wouldn't try and bid for him, or why we wouldn't try and convince him. This is not I don't think this is a Frankie de Jong situation where Barcelona want to sell him, but de Jong doesn't want to go. I think that was the situation there. De Jong clearly didn't want to go, but Barcelona we need to raise funds and stuff like that. I think this is a bit different. I think Steve Housen was on his channel saying this is not we're not twisting his arm to come here. this is like an option that he would consider. But obviously, Madrid
And we're not like Ipswich, are we? With all due respect, it's still United. So you know,
Madrid, obviously, Madrid is his dream, and people are like, well, what's the point of Madrid? Like, he's just gonna fob us off. Well, look at the team at United in a minute. You know his dream is Madrid as well. Garnacho. He said it multiple times in interviews. He said multiple times his dream is to play for Real Madrid. But we're not gonna go, oh, we don't bid for him, don't have him then, are we? Do you know what I mean? It's just it's such a bizarre way of thinking. So yeah, chuck your hat in the ring, see what you can do. If Madrid are not willing to come in, I believe they've bid 17 million euros or 20 million euros.
Is that what it is?
That's what they did. And Romano, is it Romano or somebody else tweeted earlier, basically just said they're not willing to go any higher and they're prepared to wait for him to run out his contract next season.
That's worse than us putting in that 35 for Branthwaite.
But they know they know their
of course.
They know who it is. Yeah. Like when Madrid's the dream, they can afford to just wait shit out. Like they did it. Yeah. They've done it with Camavinga. They've done it with Mbappe. Like they do it all the time. So I think throw your hat in the ring, see what happens, because you never know, man. You never know. And it's good that Ineos is sending a message to Everton going, you're wanting 70 million for Branthwaite, who is a good player, and I like him a lot. But this Yoro is touted as one of the best young up-and-coming centre-backs, and they want less money.
Yeah.
Like
we want half of whatever it
exactly.
Want, really.
So it's sending a message to them saying we're not going to pay it, and we're looking at other things. So I think it's great. I think we're great that we're going for these sort of players.
It's a weird one because what Everton are doing with the Branthwaite one, and we might as well move on to that in a moment. But what they're doing with that is that they're going off what we paid for Maguire or what was paid for Fofana or like
old
70 million price tags, basically. But not even that. Like just Fofana, obviously, is a Chelsea player, and they bought him for a lot of money, and they're stupid with their money as well. But I mean, like you can't just base it off that because you can go to any centre backs in the market and you say, all right, well, Gabriel, for example, at Arsenal had a fantastic season. Arsenal bought him for 30 million quid. You know what I mean? So like, it's just whatever anyone's willing to pay or what. Like, if someone's just stupid, and we're not stupid anymore.
How much did Ruben Diaz cost?
Yeah,
72 million.
There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? Like he's Ruben Diaz 72 million. You think Branthwaite is the same level as Ruben Diaz? Like, and then they were using Josko Gvardiol, who's probably one of the best centre backs in the world right now.
Yeah. 90 million.
Like, do you know what I mean? So I just think it's bizarre, and it's a weird measuring stick to use. It's like, oh, Maguire. But it's like, yeah, we overpaid for him. Everybody knows we overpaid for him. Everybody's aware of that. Leicester know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. It's a weird yardstick to use.
You overpaid once, so you might as well overpay again. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. The last thing I wanted to ask you is about Lenny Yoro is, and just from one each of you, think of one reason why Lenny Yoro would join us over Madrid.
Madrid don't come in for him and they force him to wait till next year, and then he thinks, well, are they going to come in next year? Maybe they find another up-and-coming centre-back in that time.
But in terms of like pull or what we can offer, is there anything we can say to Yoro?
I think he plays in the first team for United. I don't think he plays in the first team at Madrid because he's got to compete with what names escape me now. I'm so fucking
Rudiger,
tired.
Militao.
Alaba, yeah. You've got to compete there with them, and we've seen even with the like Camavinga's not played that many games. Dushimeni's not played that many games. The only player who's come in and took somebody's spot is Bellingham. He's the only one. Cruz and Modric are still playing. We're still playing up until recently. So he might be a couple of years before he starts. So at United, you're going to come in and start ideally next to either De Ligt or Lissandro. Like, you're going to start.
Anything you'd say, Shreyas, to try and convince him?
Europa League football.
Europa League football. Okay. Yeah.
You want to win?
Even if he stayed at Lille, he'd still be in the Champions League.
You want to win? Do you want to win Champions Leagues, or do you want to maybe get into the quarterfinal of the Europa League?
We'll discuss the Europa League a little bit towards the end. I want to get on to Branthwaite because we've had a second bid rejected, 45 plus 5, which I think is a reasonable offer.
Yeah.
Is that done now? Do we go in for a third? Do we even bother? Especially if you get Yoro, it's not going to happen, is it? But do you think that's the same ballpark, 45 plus 5, 50 for Yoro as well? Yeah. Do we go in for a third time, Shreyas?
I don't think so. I think this is pretty much done because I in all honesty, I don't see him being any more than a 50 million pound player. I've seen him. He's very talented, has got loads of potential, has a very good season with Everton, but he's not worth more than 50 million. And like we mentioned the names before, he's not at that type of quality yet where you can, go and say that he's a 70 or 80 million pound player.
Yeah.
For a 70 and 80 million pound player, he still has a lot of check boxes to actually cross. He still hasn't made, the national team with England. He still has only had one professional season in the Premier League. With all due respect as well at Everton, where I still think he still needs a lot more experience to actually build himself up. We need to see whether he can be a consistent performer, for a bigger club. And to go in for an offer for, this sort of a player above 50 million, it's a very huge gamble. And I don't think that right now he is the type of player who we should be gambling on.
Yeah.
I think De Ligt is still a safer gamble. I would say even say Euro is still a much safer gamble, but Branthwaite isn't that sort of gamble which Ineos should be making in this at this moment in time, especially when the budget is stretched, and on top of that, that backline is right now very destabilized. You need people to come in who can actually come in and hit the ground running, because Varane is gone. Maybe Lindelof and Maguire, one of them actually might end up leaving too. So you need people to come in who can actually be an integral part, and at the same time can actually slot right into that system. And I think Branthwaite could fit into that system, but at the price that is being quoted, like imagine getting De Ligt and imagine getting Euro for a better price in comparison to Branthwaite, then I don't think that we should be going in for another offer. I think 50 million is the max that we have gone, and I think it's the right thing to actually move on from him.
It's nice to actually have options and alternatives in the first place, isn't it? Because, like you said, under the previous regime, it was either we just go for this player, and then we panic, and then we just react, and then go get someone else. That's what we usually do. But I'll throw this question to you, Sam. Which is more of a gamble, De Ligt or Branthwaite?
Branthwaite, because he's unproven. Obviously, there's gambles.
You think he's unproven?
Yeah. What's he done?
In the Premier League, he's proven.
What's he done? Yeah, no, one season.
He's been fantastic, though.
He's been great, but we've seen so many players step into their first season and then fall off seasons after. If he's done,
Fofana had one good season with I think Leicester, ended up going to Chelsea and hasn't really worked out.
When you step up, it's a different level, especially at Manchester United. And you look at De Ligt, and yes, he's got risk as well with the injury and stuff like that. I know people are speaking about that, which is valid. But he's played for the top club in each country he's been to. Ajax, he was captain at young age, and he led them to multiple Eredivisie titles and a Champions League semi-final. Been to Juve, won a title, won trophies. He's been to Bayern Munich, won a title and trophies. So he's proven he's been to top clubs, and he's still only 24. He's still young enough to think. So I think he's the lesser risk. He costs less. He's got that previous existing relationship with Ten Hag, and I think he adapts to United a lot quicker than Branthwaite would. Not saying Branthwaite wouldn't, and not saying Branthwaite is not capable of it, but I think Matthijs de Ligt is the lesser risk and the easier one to fit into the team immediately. Did
you guys see what the fans said about him?
They're proper annoyed. They're proper annoyed.
Yeah, so this is what the fans have said about I would say Branthwaite, Matthijs de Ligt, so the Bayern Munich fans. We all want Matthijs de Ligt to stay at Bayern Munich. He has proven that he's world-class, a world-class defender, probably the best in our squad. There is a reason why he was elected our best player in the 22-23 season. Furthermore, he's only 24 years old and has a bright future ahead, which he's going to fulfill his huge potential. Despite his young age, Matthijs is already very mature and has a great mentality, which will definitely make him a leading figure in defence and probably a competitor for captaincy in some years. His ability to speak English, German and Dutch fluently would help a lot with that. With 19 years, he already brought Ajax to the UCL semi-finals as captain. And then this last bit, selling Matthijs de Ligt would be an absolute horrible decision, and we would definitely regret it. That is why we use our voice to call attention that we will not make this mistake. That's what the fans are saying about him. Yeah. So all these are there was a lot of negativity about de Ligt when it first came out, and I didn't really understand it. I get it's a little bit of a gamble, injuries. People were concerned about his wages. He's willing to take a wage cut, and he only wants United. He wants to play for us, and he wants first team action. And him and Lissandro, you've got that Amsterdam Ajax connection. I think that could potentially work. I want to ask you about the left back that we've been linked with, and I want to switch cameras because my camera's going to die. Shreyas, I'll go to you on this first. Your thoughts on that Turkish left back we've been linked with, Ferdi Kadioglu? Obviously seen him in the Euros a little bit. Malacia still not training, apparently. First team training. Thoughts on that left back situation?
As his leg fell off, and they've reattached it. What the fuck? has happened to him that
Nobody still knows what has actually
he's
happened
been away
to
for a
him.
year
First thing.
and he's still
Second
not
thing has
training.
been, yeah, the only thing that I've heard is there is still no, even an estimate as to when he might be back or whether he'll be, featuring in the first half of the season. And first half of the season is actually, big statement that this he's been out throughout the last season, and even now he can't even be in the in team training. We need it just means you need to actually look at replacements. You cannot go into another season just having Luke Shaw as your starting fit senior left back. We've gone through that road once, we cannot go through that road again. And I think Kadioglu, I think, is I'm not seen much of him. He's played for Fenerbahce. A lot of clubs have been interested in him. Arsenal have been very interested in him, and Calafiori at the same time. Can play a couple of positions. Is a very well-rounded, I would say fullback. Knows how to progress down the wings. Has a couple of flaws in his game, I would say, when it comes to retaining the ball while trying to pull the ball forward. In certain defensive situation, he can be a bit vulnerable, but that those area and those aspects of the game can be worked on, and we've seen it happen at United with Dallo. He's worked on his game a lot last season, didn't see start the season quite well, worked on his game, worked on his abilities, and by the end of the season was probably one of our better players in that squad. So I think we do need to go in for another left back, and the fact that he can be available within that 30 to 35 million price range actually makes him a very, very good prospect for us to actually hunt on. Because once again, we cannot be going out for players who are worth around that 70-75 million mark. We need to be very smart and very shrewd when it comes to signing these sort of players, because once again, even though Malacia isn't fit, he's still a name who's present at the club. Same goes for Luke Shaw. Might not be fit for the entire season, but still is a player actually present at the club. So to go in for another, I would say a third left back, you cannot be going out and spending like 50 or 60 million. You need to be looking at those sort of players who can come in, do a job, and maybe if they're able to slot right in and actually do quite well, take that starting spot off Luke Shaw or Malacia.
Yeah, I mean, we could expand on the left back if you want that. There's so many things to get into. I just want to kind of plow through this, but I think we all would kind of agree about 30 to 50 million going to be spent on the left back unless we sell someone significant. And that whole situation, it's going to be one of them kind of players that's a little bit second string, like a Region, like this player would be linked with. Would you agree with that, Sam?
Yeah, I don't see money being spent, especially like if Shortley is now fit for England and hopefully he stays fit, so that would put him his thing. Malacia, God knows, like I said, is his leg been torn off and reattached? Like,
it's disgusting it, isn't it? Really, until like
it's so insane.
No updates.
Like, it's just so insane. So yeah, I think you could do a lot worse than sort of promote Harry Hamas, in my opinion. That's what I would do. I'd promote Harry Hamas, easy back up to Shaw, and then hopefully at some point Malacia is fit. Like, is I just think 30 million could be go towards a defensive midfielder or someone else. I think left back is needed, but it's not a priority right now.
Right, I want to stick with you on this one, Sam. We're going to move on to the next transfer bit. It's from Laurie Whitwell, which this one surprised me, actually. Internal talks have taken place about Ivan Toney and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who each have 1 year remaining on their contracts. Both have indicated they will not be signing fresh terms at their clubs and are looking to move. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously Xerxes coming through the door, already got Højlund. How does that dynamic work, do you think?
I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, please no. Let's, like, what are we doing? Just getting an English Martial? Is that what we're doing? Just a guy who's going to spend the rest of the time on the injury table? Like, that's just doesn't make that. I hope that's not true. Like, I hope he's just
Ivan Toney, though?
Ivan Toney, yeah. I saw a thing before, like Brentford wants 60, 70, but he could be available for 40, which 40 million, I think I'd take a punt on that. 40 million for Ivan Toney and take a punt on that. However, I think if you bring him in, you then have to think Ten Hag's thinking about a change of system, and he's going to play with two forwards up top.
Yeah.
Because if he's going to stick with 4-3-3, you cannot have three strikers at that level and expect to share minutes.
What team's got three strikers?
It's not a thing. None. So he'd have to change systems. So either play Xerxes Højlund because they might complement each other, or Xerxes Toney because they'll complement each other. I think he has to change systems if that's the way he's going. I don't see Toney coming in unless he's going to dramatically change the system and tear up the rule thing and do something completely different. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin is just stupid. Like, that should not. I hope he's just on a list of
That's
strikers.
That's the thing with Chilwell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of
I hope it's just a list of strikers that could be available, and he's just on a list. I'm hoping they're not thinking about that because that's idiotic.
It's like they're purposely signing or looking at injured players so they can be like, you'll get all the first team action you want. Don't worry about it. You're a starter. And then when they come in, they're going to get injuries, so don't worry about it. They'll just play like Chilwell. Like, he'll be out for 6 months, and then if we need a left back, he can come in. Maybe that's what they're kind of banking on. But the striker dynamic is interesting, isn't it, Shreyas? Because I look at Xerxes, Højlund, two very different ones. Do you think Tony potentially coming in could disrupt the harmony a little bit? Or would you absolutely take him?
I think the only way Tony comes in is if we actually move into a two-striker formation. That's the only way he can actually come into this team. Because if we are not actually moving to that sort of system, it makes absolutely no sense to get actually getting Ivan Toney in. Because I'm even throughout his time at Manchester United, Ten Hag has always signed players that fit his system. He's never went over the top with any signing where you would go out and say that we've got too many players in a single position. We've never had that with Ten Hag at the club. We've had that at times with Oli, but we've never had that with Erik Ten Hag. And if this is a situation where he goes in and actually gets another number 9, probably he's actually thinking of going with a formation where you've got Xerxes, who's very good at interlinking play, who knows actually how to, the kind of hybrid strikers that we've been mentioning all the time, that know how to actually bring the wingers in, that know actually how to pull people in when it comes to the final third.
Motta said before he left for Juve that he's capable of playing across that front line, Xerxes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just a number 9, he can play anywhere.
His ability and the way he navigates himself inside the final third, it's actually quite decent, especially for a young striker his age. So maybe he's thinking that, Xerxes and Højlund, or if it is Ivan Toney, then maybe Xerxes and Toney up top together, because a partnership like that can work, where you've got a striker who actually knows how to, switch on and switch off. And then you've got another striker who just, knows how to actually go in front of goal. So you've got that creator aspect in Xerxes, and maybe that, poacher instinct with Højlund, who knows how to get in behind and knows actually, how to even hold up the ball in certain situations while moving up top. Getting Toney in frees up another option. And I would say if he is actually going for, a system change and a two-striker formation, makes sense to actually go for someone like Toney. But if he is not, then I think we are quite sorted in that department, because you've got Xerxes, you've got Højlund. Worst case scenario in a game where you just want to see the game out for the last 15 minutes, you can chuck Rashford on in that position as well, just to see the game out. So you've got ample of strength in that area. So if it's not a system change, doesn't really make sense to go in for another striker.
Yeah, I can imagine prepping for United this season is like prepping for doomsday, innit? After all the injuries we had, they're probably just like, I don't care, stack as many fucking players as you can into the squad, just so we have first teamers available everywhere.
It's funny if we just don't suffer a single injury this season. We've just got all these players sat there going, when am I getting minutes?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise you though, would it, honestly? Right, I'm going to go to the comments because I neglected them for long enough. There's so much stuff to talk about. Chivy's saying, how many euros do you need to buy €1? 50 euros, according to reports, mate. So
nice. Good joke. Good joke.
It's all right. I'm sure we'll lay that a few more times. Yeah. Great minds think alike, Richard. Top choice. What's Richard saying? Steak, chips, and mushroom. Discussing what they had for tea.
Nice.
Very nice. Yoro is a top prospect, says Kira. Certainly agree with that. People talking about Greg's in the chat as well. Love to see it.
Always.
Maguire was Prem proven before he joined United. Yeah. I think there is a little bit more context to that now in terms of how he was playing at Leicester and how United were playing. Like there is.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you think Bayern will change their mind with fans putting this out and making the petition? Nah.
Absolutely not. Because
even if Bayern change their mind, De Ligt won't.
No, but you got to think as well. Bayern, they've brought in Eric Dyer, Kim Min-jae, who are playing over him, and they've just bought Jonathan Tah. So there's no way.
They still got Upamecano.
He's never going to play. So why would they change their minds?
They want to sell Upamecano as well, apparently,
really?
According to reports that I want to see. Yeah, because the whole structure there, they just want to wipe and start fresh and get like new shiny things in, according to journalists around Germany. So Yeah, they want to get rid, and I think they will. I think that's why the deal's moving so quick, to be fair. Charlie saying, why would we get a player who has his mind on Real Madrid? It would be another Angel Di Maria situation, someone who would not give everything at the club.
I disagree. Because
Well.
Garnacho's dream is Real Madrid, and you cannot tell me he doesn't give fucking everything on the pitch. It depends on the player's mentality. Some players, while they might not be fans of the club and they might dream of playing elsewhere, they just have that mentality where it doesn't matter if it's game time, they work the fucking ass off.
Yeah.
Di Maria wasn't that guy. Like, he clearly didn't want to come, and he clearly just wasn't asked, and he wasn't going to willing to put 100% in, which is why it didn't work. Yoro is the youngest, most impressive centre back that's come along in a long time, and there's a reason why Real Madrid want him. So I don't think he's the type of player to sack it off if he didn't get his Madrid move immediate. He's 18, so he could play at United for 4 years and still conceivably go to Madrid after 4 years. So you get 4 years of a quality centre back. Like, it's bizarre. That I don't understand that.
Like Madrid are like pinky swearing with players.
Yeah.
Like Mbappe was like, "Oh, we'll wait." Jude, they said they wasn't even interested in him at first. And then Camavinga was another one. Was like, "Oh, we'll just wait." Like, they've got the luxury of doing that because you look at the squad, it's like, they've certainly got. They're probably the most attractive club to go at the minute, I would say, out of any team.
Well, you've got everything, haven't you? They've won trophies recently. They've got some of the best players on the planet, and they've got history as well.
Yeah,
like,
and the best young players on the planet. That's another one. For it's ridiculous. Juddy Sports, the players we're linked to can play a high line, and including why we got the new keeper coach, which means we won't have the big gaps in the middle of the pitch this season. Very good point, Juddy Sports. Yeah. I'm excited to see how we start and the style of play and stuff. Anyway, let's go back to a couple of the transfer bits, and then we'll discuss Ten Hag's interview because we do need to fire through this. So this was about Ahmad. Manchester United turned down an approach from one of Europe's biggest clubs who were willing to pay more than £30 million for Ahmad. United have made it clear they have zero interest in allowing Ahmad to leave the club, as he is now considered of huge importance to the first team by Erik Ten Hag. Now, me and you discussed Ahmad yesterday, Sam, so I'll go to Shreyas on this, and then I'll ask you about Wan-Bissaka. What are your thoughts on that, Shreyas? Ahmad turned down. Do you think he'll get a lot of minutes this season? Are you hopeful?
I think he will. Once again, I think he's the only creative winger that we've got at the club right now. Like, out of all the wingers that we've got, he's the only one who's not direct enough, who just wants to beat the defender and go for a shot. He's the only one who I think actually scans the final third and actually wants to pass the ball to Højlund or whoever is going to be playing for us.
Bruno. He's got a good link up with Bruno, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think moving into next season, Ahmad and Bruno are going to be very, very key. If they are able to actually, get that partnership right, if they are able to actually work well, while moving the ball forward, it will be very, very difficult for teams to actually shut us down, because we've been very unidirectional in our attacks. And we've seen, I think before Ahmad actually came in, it only used to be that the left-hand side was the only side where you could say that, United can be a threat. The right-hand side has been dead for quite some time. Since Ahmad has come in, there's been a much, greater balance on that left flank and that right flank. Garnacho has been doing quite well in that left wing position. Ahmad has actually been doing very, very well since he's come into that right wing position. And I think from what I have seen in the in the final few games of the season, I would put him ahead of the pecking order in comparison to all the other players who can play right wing. He's a natural right winger, and I think having him actually frees up a lot more space for Højlund too, because he knows how to actually shift wide. All the other forwards we've had, they don't know how to stretch the defense out. They're way more central. They're genuinely way more central. Even Rashford, whenever he's playing, he's way more centralized. He doesn't know how to stretch the defense out. Ahmad actually stretches the defense out a lot more. He likes to take the ball out wide. He likes to actually, ping balls around. And even, while moving forward, interlinking play, he's very, very well decent. And I think it's the right call, actually, because if Ahmad is given minutes, I think he will shine. And if he does manage to actually shine, if he is able to step up, saves us a lot of cash from reinvesting in that right wing position again and again and again. We've already invested around 80 million in Antony, 70 million in Sancho. So it will be a good change of pace, actually having a youngster come in and actually doing quite well in that position.
Yeah, it seems like Ahmad definitely going to stay. I'm excited. Obviously, you guys don't know I'm very excited to see how he cracks on, and if he can start to push into that first team, maybe him and Garnacho on either side would be nice to see. So he's going to stay in terms of outgoings. One who could go, Sam, West Ham. are going to make a first bid for Aaron Wan-Bissaka this week, according to multiple reports. Now, we've seen some mediocre offers from Turkey that they're pointless even putting him in my opinion. What should we take for Wan-Bissaka? And would you be as keen to move him on?
I think Wan-Bissaka's... I wouldn't move him on. Like, I don't know if he's got a +1 in his deal. I'm not sure.
Because he has got a year. It's a year left in it. So
left,
like...
yeah. So if he has got a +1, if I was in charge, I would activate it, because I think right back is, again, a low priority position to sort. I think obviously Diallo played a lot of minutes last season and did relatively well. I think Wan-Bissaka is so different from Diallo and is such a unique talent to have. Like when you want to shut a game down, or you want to shut specific winger down, like he did with St. Maximin, the Carabao Cup final multiple times, against Salah, against Doku as well in the FA Cup final. He's so unique, and I would keep hold of him for another year at least until you identify a key right back who's got both talents, who's fantastic defensively and going forward. And I think he has improved going forward. Like, I think he has had significant improvement going forward. Obviously, he's not on the level of Diallo, but I think he is better. Yeah. I personally would keep him, and if he has got a +1 activation, I'd activate it and keep hold of him to stop him leaving for free next summer. But if a bid comes in and it's of a decent value, you've got to think about it, because like you said, he's got a year left on his deal. So if somebody comes in with, I don't know, 30+ million, I think you'd have to sit down.
You think 30 plus with a year left with Wan-Bissaka?
I'm not saying they would, but I'm saying that's what it would take to consider. Otherwise, I'm not letting him go, because these sort of bids that are coming in, 10, 15 million? Like, get to fuck. Ridiculous. I'm not dealing with that. Like, and that's what they seem to be thinking. Like, West Ham seems to be 15 million. Like, I don't.
Should be north of 20 at least.
I'm not even considering it at that point. So
yeah, because the replacement, who are you going to get a replacement? Is at a similar level, really?
And we haven't got a right back in the academy yet who's ready for that step up. So
no,
for me, it just doesn't make sense to do that. I would keep hold of him for at least another season. That's what I would do.
Yeah, interesting. Let me know, guys, what you think about Aaron Wan-Bissaka's situation. It seems very 50-50 at the minute with fans in general. So, yeah, let us know, and we'll get into the comments in a moment.
Romano's updated on Xerxes. United are ready to complete deal for Xerxes. He expected to sign a 5-year contract. Formal steps with Bologna will follow. So, I think we're getting there.
Ready to complete a deal. Xerxes, formal steps will follow this week. Okay, so... yeah, we're just waiting for that. Here we go now on him, aren't we? I suppose it'll be Ineos' first signing. Very exciting. Which leads me to talk about the manager, Shreyas. Erik ten Hag has been doing an interview with MUTV, which you had to subscribe for to watch, which I'm absolutely not doing. They go fuck themselves. So thanks for the aggregator accounts. So just get the quotes off there. Ten Hag saying very excited for the future. Otherwise, I wouldn't have extended. I came to win trophies, and that's of course what he's done. The standards we've shown in the FA Cup, all those standards, we need them. We need to make it a way of life. So he wants that on a consistent basis, which I'm sure all fans do as well. Why do you think it is that we can't replicate them kind of performances, game in, game out? In your opinion,
I think the reason we can't actually, keep that up once again. We've got very inconsistent players. We've not. I would say there are certain players in that team who I would still say are not capable enough to keep the same quality for the entire 90 minutes. Maybe they can keep the charge. Maybe they can hold on for the first 45. But we've seen it on a lot of occasions that we just run out of gas in the final 30 minutes. And last season it used to happen a lot. We used to start games quite well. Then we used to concede a goal. Then suddenly the energy throughout the team just used to absolutely die out. And in the second half, we just used to bank on something to just work in our favor, get a penalty, or get a late equalizer, and just bank on that sort of an option. Other than that as well, I think in certain games, having the players that we had, not having players like Lissandro and Luke Shaw being available, it actually hampered our season a lot. Because I see in the games where we did have Lissandro, the team used just while we used to build out from the back, while we used to in the, I would say, being counter pressured when we didn't actually have the ball, we looked quite more comfortable even off the ball whenever Lissandro had been on. And apart from that as well, I think having Amrabat playing in that 6 in the final few games of the season, it actually was it genuinely was like a breath of fresh air having to actually seen him. He put in some very very decent performances, and especially against a team like City, the way he him and Wan-Bissaka both doubled down on Doku when he came on, keeping players like Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne actually quiet for the entire game. They did quite well, but when it comes to keeping those standards up for a 38 game season, that's where we actually don't have enough quality on the bench, because Ten Hag loves to make substitution around the 60-65th minute mark. So the moment we used to go, we take Lisandro out, we take Casemiro out, then the options you've got is you get McTominay on, you get Lindelof on. We had Lindelof playing left back or right back for a majority of last season, and I just think that injuries definitely played a part. Apart from it, not having the adequate bench strength to actually, fit in for players who are actually knackered, that actually played a big decision, a big impact on us not actually playing the way we did in the final few games of the season. And apart from it, I would just say Ten Hag was a bit too straightforward in certain games as well. Like in certain games where I think he should have stabilized it a bit. He didn't stabilize. He still went full guns blazing, and that actually cost us a few points in last season. But I think mostly injuries, not having adequate bench strength, and uh, some certain players just not having the quality to keep the same intensity up for the entire 90 minutes, making the same mistakes like conceding from cutbacks, not marking the midfield runners, same mistakes being repeated. So I think that cost us a lot of points last season, especially midfield cutbacks and goals.
The weird thing is, it was almost like the young players became the senior players. So like your Cobbies and your Garnachos and these kind of guys, like they become the ones who were being consistent, the ones who were showing up every single game, and it was the other ones who were a little bit flaky, like your Rashfords, for example, or there was just injuries constantly. And Ten Hag got asked about these kind of surprises from the youth academy and how well the youngsters have done, Sam. And he says, every season after a break, you have surprises. Last season, Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho coming up. Today, we started. Which player is there who can do the same? And I'll throw that same question to you. Who will be the next surprise, in your opinion?
Well, if you're new to the channel or you've not seen it, me and Nick did a video on two young players we think will break through this season. So go check that out. Did we put it public for everybody, or is it just the members?
So. Yeah, I think
if it members, you'll have it. If not, it might be on the public thing. I'm gonna have a look in a minute when I finish talking. I'll drop it in the chat. Yeah, the Harry Amas was training with the team for the first team pretty much all season last season, so he seems like he's ready to go. Obviously, we saw Ethan Wheatley come and get some minutes towards the end of the season, so he could be there. Toby Collier was on the bench quite a lot. Obviously, I don't think he got any minutes. I believe I don't think he did. And obviously, you saw Cam Waller come to the forefront. Obviously, he's going to get more minutes this season. So, yeah, there's a couple in there that you think might be a part of it. I hope to see all of them on pre-season. I hope they get minutes in season so Ten Hag can sort of assess and go, okay, this guy's not ready yet. Let's send him on loan to a Premier League or a Championship club. This guy can be a rotation for this thing. This guy's not ready. Like, I hope that's what happens. And we see... Did he say in an interview a couple of years ago that he wants to bring through 2 youth players every season?
Every season,
that was the quote. So he's done that each season so far. So I think it'll continue, and I hope. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of Harry Amasnik, so am I. I'm a big fan of Shea Lacey. Rich is asking what happens to Dango. I think he separated his shoulder in the summer.
Yeah,
so I don't think he'll be ready, unfortunately. But yeah, he's another one. Good player. Yeah, there's a couple of good players who are like, I'm excited about, and I hope to see him in pre-season and this season.
Yeah, pre-season starts on Monday, by the way.
Yep.
Monday. That's like
Euros final. So Euros final. Yeah. United.
It's like these guys
players just don't get any rest at all.
Yeah, took the words from my mouth quite literally. Yeah, we're going to discuss the last thing we're going to discuss actually the Europa League format. I'm just interested to discuss that. But the last thing, just from this interview, which I thought was interesting, he spoke about Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox. He said, around the football, around the first team, we have a strong structure that will help us. They are so supportive. They will help us in scouting, recruitment, and they will raise the bar. Now, Shreyas, we've already seen with the business that we're currently conducting at the minute, they're going, full force, aren't they? Multiple deals at the same time, which I don't think we've ever seen in the past decade. I would probably strongly say. But how much of a percentage do you think having that structure above Erik ten Hag? How much difference will it make, in your opinion?
I think it definitely makes a big difference because for the first time, I would say Ten Hag isn't the one actually approaching these players. These guys are actually bringing the players to him. So it does take a lot more pressure and a lot of work out of Ten Hag's wheelhouse. He can just, purely focus onto the team, set out the game plan for the, coming season, raise his inquiries about, what sort of players he wants to bring in into this team, what sort of profile of players he wants to bring into this team, whether it's going to be a starting player, a player who he needs for cover. On the same hand, looking into the academy as well, as to what players he actually wants to promote next season and actually sees as a big part, playing a big part of this team in next season. So I think it gives him a lot more free hand, a lot more time to actually assess these factors rather than just looking at players and what to bring in and who not to actually bring in. And having, I would say, having these sort of people at the club with the same inclination and actually being aligned with the manager with the similar pattern as well, as when it comes to the style of play, the type of players to bring in, and apart from that, just having the right mindset and having every single person on the same page, it does create I would say a much stable and a much more positive environment, not just for the club, not just for the manager, but even for the players, that they know where the boat is headed and in which direction even they need to proceed. Because at times we've seen on the pitch that there's a sense of confusion as as to what are we doing, what do we actually want to do, and what is it that the manager even wants to achieve. Having these kind of people at the club, it provides a lot more structure and direction to the club, and this is the first time Ten Hag will be having it in his tenure. And if he is able to actually capitalize on it, once again, it does set a much positive and a much stable future for us in the years to come.
Well, if he's won 2 trophies under the previous regime, I'd love to think what he can do under this new one. That's what excites me the most. And that kind of starts off with the Europa League, Sam. Of course, we have a new format. I think the first league group stage, whatever the fuck they want to call it, has been released. So I'll go through the teams and then I'll just discuss the format quickly to you. So AZ Alkmaar, Athletic Club, Frankfurt, Hoffenheim, Lazio, Lyon, Nice, Olympiacos, Porto, Real Sociedad, Roma, and Spurs. Just straight off the bat, who's the ones that stand out there that you like could be tricky if we come up against them in competition?
The Nice one would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That's
the interesting one.
That's a blockbuster one.
Leaps off the page. None of them
Roma,
really.
Spurs.
None of them really sort of scare me, to be honest with you.
No,
a lot of them are quite not easy clubs, but you should be beating them. I think on paper we've got better players. We never seem to do well against the likes of Real Sociedad, do we? Always seem to suck.
Any Spanish teams in general.
It's always terrible. Villarreal, Seville, Real Sociedad. It's just always shit. It's always a fucking shite game. So yeah, not looking forward to that. But the rest of them, I don't see, famous last words in it. I don't see many issues in that thing. But I said the same thing about England in the Euros, and look where we are. Do you know what I mean?
And the same thing about the Champions League. We had Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and Bayern Munich.
It would have helped. It would have helped if Onana hadn't chucked the ball in his own net continuously.
Yeah, that's all we need to do to advance. If he just doesn't do that, then
I think we'll be all right.
And score goals.
Yes, that's how.
Because we scored goals in the Champions League. We were outscoring the other team. It's just Onana decided, I'm bored. I'm going to make this interesting.
Make it difficult.
Put the ball in his own net. So, yeah.
That is something, by the way, that will stick in my head for the rest of my life. Onana against Galatasaray. I will never forget that.
Terrible, that. Twice as well. Not just once in the game. Fucking twice.
From free kicks. From a ZH free kick. Twice. I'm pulling the air out. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I can't believe what is he doing. The mistakes he was making. The Bayern Munich one, was it Sane who cut in and shot it in the box? Yeah. And I'm sure there was one against Copenhagen. I can't remember.
Copenhagen, he made a mistake in both the legs against Galatasaray. In one, he got Casemiro sent off with the red. And in the other fixture.
And then weirdly...
Go ahead.
Copenhagen at home, he saves a fucking penalty in the last minute. I'm like, what is this guy? I don't understand this, man.
He is mad, isn't it? Yeah.
And then the
weird.
return fixture after it, concedes 2 goals, Ziyech free kick,
Yeah.
and then another free kick coming in allows it to actually go inwards.
Mental.
I think I can safely say I will never ever watch that campaign back ever again.
No.
Any highlights from that, because it was just like PTSD. But yeah, the biggest change to the group stage, it'll become a single 36-team league stage. Each side faces 8 different teams, 4 at home and 4 away. The top 8 overall advance directly to the round of 16. Sides finishing from 9th to 24th will contest the knockout round playoffs, with the victors going through to the last 16, and then on it's straight knockout. And we'll just end with this question, because there is technicalities, and again, I didn't even follow that myself, and I fucking read it out. Can Ten Hag win 3 in 3 years? And also, has a coach ever done that before in his first debut 3 years? That's what I want to know. And 2, do you think we can win this trophy this season?
You want to go, Shreyas?
Before you do, are you going to be negative or positive, Sam? Because I'd want to end on a positive.
I'm going to be as realist as I can be.
Oh, fuck you now. Right, go on.
Is
I
it
think
me?
he can. I'll go first.
Okay.
I think he can win. Will he win is a completely different question. But can he win with the setup that he's provided and the players who are going to be coming in? Yes, there is a good shot that we can win it. Can he make it 3 in 3? I don't know about Europa League, but in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, he's been doing a fantastic job. 2
You're
years in
just
the row.
scarred from when we did predictions and we did the Champions League, and me and you said, I went as far to say we'd win it, and you said semi-final, didn't you?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
I,
because
So I think we're
even
just
I
scarred
said
for that.
quarter final, and then if we get out of the group, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm very, very scared. I don't blame you for being a bit skeptical about
I
it.
remember when Onana made the first mistake against Bayern, Chivy was the only one who said that we are going to get grouped.
Yeah.
That was the first game.
It's true. And don't forget, we've got that coming up soon in the next couple of weeks, the big season preview. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but I think he can make it 3 in 3. Whether it will be a Europa League, whether it will be a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup, whether it will be the Premier League title, I don't know.
No.
I think the last one, Sam?
Can he win it? Absolutely. Like, we just looked at those teams. I know it's not complete yet. I know there's some others that have got to go into it. The format, if you want the format explained, go listen to Talk of the Devils from a couple of weeks ago. Ian explains it super well, and it took him about 20 minutes to explain the entire thing, but he sort of got for it, so go listen to that if you want to understand it. It's winnable. It's definitely winnable, and he is a cup manager, it seems, at United. He seems to be able to win trophies in tournament knockout football. So why not? Why not can't you do it? I think, had you asked me before this Ineos madness of the last couple of weeks, I probably would have been a little bit more skeptical. But it seems like we're moving unusually well in this transfer market. Unusually fucking well. And we've got top football people in place. Jason Wilcox, Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada's coming in. We've got people in place who you like. And then already within, 3 days of it, Dan Ashworth coming in? We've got bids on the table for De Ligt accepted, Xerxes accepted, Yoro's gone in, Branthwaite second bid. We're getting Ugarte as well. Like, they're moving well.
It is abnormal for us as fans.
This shouldn't be normal for United.
Yeah.
The last 10 years has been fucking, we might be getting this guy. We might be getting this guy. We might be getting this guy. Nothing happens for about 8 weeks. And then the last week of the window, we're just like, fucking just get somebody.
Boom, and out of it. No, we don't want him. Okay, we won't sign him. Shit.
Rabiot. Fuck, his mum wants too much money. Move on.
Igalo last day. Cavani last day. Fucking. Oh my god.
And we're working on outgoings at the same time as well.
Yes.
We're working on the Sancho deal. We're working on the Greenwood deal at the same time. Maybe we are behind the scenes working on Maguire and possibly some other outgoings as well. So it's a completely different change of space. And once again, I saw a tweet which said De Ligt's first season at Ajax, he won a trophy.
He won the league. He won the league.
Yeah. First season at Juventus, won the league. First season at Bayern, won the league.
Nah, man. Don't show us. Don't do this.
I genuinely believe Murty, whenever he did like his negotiating tactics, he rang up and he just went, ah!
Yeah.
So that was it. He just panicked. He didn't know what to say. And Richard was like, just give me the phone, John. Fucking just go sit down. and then they try to discuss it, but they wouldn't be able to simultaneously do it on. I don't know why I'm doing Drake Hotline Bling.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to simultaneously do it at the same time, would they? They never ever
No.
heard of that. Where it's
That
like
one
yeah,
deal, one deal,
well,
one deal.
we were trying to do this, and then we'll move on to the next one. And you're like, why? Just do like. Surely you can do 2. Surely you can speak on phone, emails.
That's like me at my job. I've got 5 clients. It's like me going, oh no, I can only do 1 client today. Like, I'm not doing the other clients. Next week, I'll get to the other client.
On this.
I'll do the other client next week. It's like, no, you have to be able to jump about and be able to do
would
things.
almost be more understandable if you got the deal through or you made the deal really good.
You don't.
Yeah.
They don't. No. So, yeah, welcome to... Thank God that's gone anyway, because I don't know where we'd be at this summer if I had
I think I would refuse to do transfer videos if we still had Murta and Arnold in place. I'd be like, I'm not doing it. Not fucking doing it.
I honestly think they actually used to go up on YouTube and actually run through players who used to get linked on fan channels and actually go out for those players. Because the players we used to keep... I still remember Nick mentioned Lisandro Martinez the first time ever any fan channel actually mentioned him. Next day we get linked with him and actually we end up signing him as the first transfer.
Well, could be the type Real Reds talk. That's why you should subscribe, everyone. We're on 5,856 subs. Hit that subscribe button and smash like on the video. Love everyone in the chat. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm just going to read out your comments to finish the show, and then me, Sam, and Shreyas will head off to go and watch the semi-final, Spain versus France.
Yeah, please be exciting. For the love of God, the last 4 quarterfinals have been shit.
Spain has had exciting games.
Spain, that's what I'm like. Nico Williams, Lamal, I think they've been very exciting. Yeah. Right, Spurs at the bottom of the log, obviously. Absolutely, Macmillan, as always. Now, here's the thing. The way it's formatted, if I am right, there is no home and away. It relies solely on how it's drawn. Again, the technicalities, Richard, honestly, I don't know. I've read it out myself.
Have you seen the document? The document's like 4 pages. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, why is it 4 pages to understand a competition? This is ridiculous.
Football fans love football. They just want to watch it. They don't want to care about the fucking intricacies of, just no. Juddy Sports saying Shea Lacey and Jack Fletcher will also potentially get opportunities this season. I certainly hope so. Jay McGrogan, big up Jay. Absolutely, Nick. I don't know what that's to, but I agree if I said it. 21 is coming. My damned United.
Oh, shut up. Don't start this. Don't start this.
And then Kira just said number 21 on the download. Oh my God. Juddy saying operating like an actual football club. Yeah, love to see it. Love to see it. Road to 6,000. Absolutely, Kira. Love that. Thank you. GTB USA. We need to sell Casemiro first. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling Casemiro's going to stay. That's not off speaking to anyone or reading anything or anything like that. I think he's going to stay.
There seems to be no movement at all.
No.
Like there was a couple of Saudi things and then nothing since. Like
everything has died out. Even from the Saudi deals and whatever was being mentioned, absolutely nothing now. And
you know what?
Maybe it's a good thing that he ends up saying.
We've got 27 people. Let's gift 5 membership, shall we? We've got people.
There you go.
Yeah. There we go.
Santa. That's what we're going to call him. See, that is off the bat there.
Nice.
Santa Claus.
Mike Scully, Sean, Shreyas.
Sean's in the chat and he's not mentioned anything funny yet. What's going on, Sean?
John James, congratulations. Enjoy the membership. Go check out the videos. Enjoy.
Yeah, we'll have a couple more hopefully coming up this weekend. It's been so busy, me and Sam. It's no time really to do anything.
We're gonna film some this weekend, so we'll get.
We'll do some stuff. But yeah, enjoy the memberships. Anyone who's currently a member, appreciate you. If you want to become a member, click the join button next to the notification bell, or click the link in the description. It should be there. And yeah, apart from that, I think we can leave it. I think very good show. Nearly an hour, 7 minutes away. Discussed loads of stuff. And like I said, pre-season starts on Monday, so we can start actually talking about Man United football and going forward and transfers, and hopefully we'll get some news soon about Xerxes. And when we do get here, obviously we will go live. You know the crack with that, people in the chat. So yeah, appreciate every single one of you. Drop us a follow on socials if you can. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Mainly Twitter though, because that's popping off at the minute, and we're trying to get growth in that. But yeah, apart from that, lads, are we all good? Good to go?
Let's go. Quick prediction: Spain or France?
Spain.
You going with Spain?
Yeah.
I think France are going to do it.
Interesting.
I think counter attack. I'm going to kill them on the counter attack.
Interesting.
Sam?
Paul, I'm going to go with Spain, but put Paul in the chat. Where does Lenny Yoro end up at the end of the transfer window? 65% have said United, 28% have said Madrid, and then 7% have said stays at Lille.
There we go. So yeah, let's see what the Euros have in store. Let's see who England are going to play in the final. Fuck Netherlands, we're going to win, and we're going to go to the final, and we're going to win that as well. Right, see you in a bit, everyone. Appreciate every single one of you. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow, unless something breaks. See you in a bit.